In the fall of 1996, Nickelodeon did something that was entirely new to me. A cartoon about kids my age, voiced by kids my age, about the struggles of being a kid. No offense, Mr. Schultz. Hey Arnold had it all. Life in the big city, a killer jazz soundtrack, a badass bedroom. So what if I told you there's an anime that captures the essence of Gen Z the same way Hey Arnold did for us millennials? Grab a Yahoo, flip down that couch, and plop down for an anime parallel to Hey Arnold. Komi Can't Communicate. Komi Can't Communicate, like Hey Arnold, is a vignette show centered on Shoko Komi, a tall, beautiful, and popular girl at Eton Private High School. Don't let her cool exterior fool you. Komi suffers from social phobia. She has a hard time talking out loud, and has no close friends at the beginning of the show, where Arnold, like Tadano, both discovers this phobia and her innermost desire to have 100 friends before she graduates high school. Tadano gets her 1% towards her goal, and the series begins with Komi starting to branch out. As a way into Komi Can't Communicate, we have to talk about the stock characters of Hey Arnold. Growing up, we all knew the girl we shouldn't antagonize, the snooty, rich early bloomer, or the mouthy doofus that was actually a coward. Which is not to discredit the depth that Craig Bartlett's characters have, especially for a kid's show. Take the Christmas episode with Mr. Wynn, or the Schadenfreude of Rhonda getting made fun of for having glasses, where I discovered the meaning of that word because I too was rocking wire frame glasses at 10 years old. Komi Can't Communicate also has familiar personalities. Komi's characters are just aged forward a little bit, and the rating jumps to PG, maybe riding that PG-13 line.
Of course I want to see her underwear through her tights!
We'll get to that in the last section. For the purposes of this one, I'll skip Komi, since half the show's jokes revolve around how she's going to react to a given situation. Tadano is the other main character, and like Arnold, is the moral center, and the Charlie Browniest of Charlie Browns. Najimi, who we meet in the second episode, is our Gerald. It's a literal plot point that Najimi is childhood friends with everyone. Seriously, everyone. Briefly back to the Psycho, that's Ren Yamai. Our Helga Pataki turned up to 11. But she's not obsessed with Tadano. She's Komi's classmate and personal stalker. And before you get too off-put, I'll remind you Helga stole Arnold's chewing gum, turned it into an effigy, and made out with it. But yeah, it's best to keep Yamai at that 100-yard distance. I won't go through every character's ins and outs, but let's just say the comparisons don't stop with Yamai. As for the wacky animation style and the cutaways in Komi, a common response when I evangelize anime like this is, I just can't take the show seriously. Couple things. Number one, I would most certainly not take Komi seriously, except for the desire for human connection. Number two, while I have seen peers openly cry at the deeper themes of Hey Arnold, the kid's head's a football. Do you remember that episode where off-brand Cool Hand Luke needed Arnold to rob a store because of the shape of his head? Because I do. The humor and the stories aren't that far off from one another. Because remember when Arnold's peers lost it in the heat wave and started flipping trucks like their local sports team won the Super Trophy? With that in mind, the idea that Komi is so inherently attractive that people would, say, file down a bump at the water park because it tripped her, shouldn't be too out there for you. And don't even get me started on their openings. I don't want to make a habit out of comparing openings, if only because it's more this guy's bag. But I think the opening credits for both shows are indicative of the time and place they came from. Hey Arnold opens on Arnold in all his quirky glory, accompanied with the soundscape of Hillwood, an amalgamation of Seattle, Portland, and Brooklyn. The quasi-Thelonious Monk jazz being an American invention, leads the movement of the scene, giving glimpses of the massive cast and the landscape that, having lived in Chicago for 8 years, is spot on for a cozy, old city neighborhood.
Move it, football head!
Komi Can't Communicate skips the smooth intro and hits you with the iconic J-pop synth from the get-go. Bright, loud, showing Komi crashing down into the lives of the equally huge cast. The animation's juxtaposition of Komi, the characters, and the back and forth between daydream and reality foreshadow the style and extraness that's to come. You can feel the optimism oozing from the screen. And the respective vibes continue well past the opening credits. Arnold's story is very much one of the 90s. There are several episodes that just wouldn't work nearly as well if they had access to the internet. Half of Grandpa's stories are probably a search away from being total BS. And if you want to feel really old, here's Arnold oogling his dream sound system.
It's amazing! Triple stack CD remote with 28-bit oversampling, micro tuner, joint 360 woofers with separate sub-channel.
Let's double that old feeling. The comic that inspired Comey came out in 2016. Early in that show, Comey gets a flip phone, and this is Tadano's response.
You've never had a cell phone? That's wild. No, I haven't. You're making me feel sad, Comey.
Not me wanting to punch someone because I once was excited by a flip phone too. But this is where Comey actually showcases Gen Z. A lot of the story progressions, the communication, the meetups, the teenage angst, have to do with how to reach out to someone digitally. For Comey's social phobia, it seems like speaking on the phone or texting mitigates her fear. Pictures, video games, they all help the classmates bond with one another. I mean, there's an entire story about playing Smash Bros. Tech aside, Comey and Arnold both center around activities and experiences that are culturally significant to their locale. Arnold attends a baseball game, gets into Dino Spumoni, a borderline offensively named Dean Martin, and I still hum bits of that opera episode. They even managed to squeeze in a jab at racism.
Where do you come from, Phoebe?
Kentucky, sir.
Well, Phoebe, let's make Kentucky proud on Thursday.
Man, I wish I could say that was just a 90s thing, like Furbies. Die with Furbies, racism. Comey's events center around anime tropes, but also Japanese references and events, like there's a beach episode, sports and culture festivals, New Year's activities, and while it doesn't, to my knowledge, have jabs at racism, it has its own social commentary, something Comey and Arnold both share. Hey Arnold focused on the difficulties of 4th grade, being bullied, having crushes, the struggles of family, biological and chosen, and the writers did a fantastic job hiding some of these things in plain sight. Arnold's grandma likely suffers from dementia.
You remember Gerald?
I know you and Colonel Binghamton must be exhausted.
Helga's mom is clearly an alcoholic. And we also get to see Grandpa give Hitler a wedgie. Since the characters in Comey are 5 or 6 years older, some of those problems do change with age. But despite being on the other side of the Pacific, they're still relatable. It's worth noting their school only accepts people based on the personal interview, and the expository montage itself is pretty hilarious, so for no spoilers, here's Sam the Eagle to translate.
You are all weirdos.
Comey wants to have friends and socialize, but has to overcome her fear of doing it. Tadano wants a fresh start in a new school, leaving his awkward middle school self behind. A nerd that got swole doesn't realize his gains give him resting jerk face. A country mouse wants to become a city gal. Pretty much everyone is handling their awkward years in a way that touches the heart and funny bone, leading to these two, Yamai and Najimi. I won't defend Yamai's behavior. She's creepy, inappropriate, and obsessive over Comey, but I want to point out that her classmates have a problem with that part, not the having a crush on a girl part. My understanding, as best as a white American straight guy can have, is that in Japan this kind of same-sex attraction is seen as an adolescent phase. But I'm choosing to take the fact that this crush is treated with nonchalance as acceptance. I could definitely be wrong, but I'm coming from having lived through 7 presidents now. For those that are too young or unaware, in the late 90s, Ellen DeGeneres was effectively blackballed for coming out of the closet. And while hardcore Arnold fans may point out that Mr. Simmons was clearly gay, it is never outwardly acknowledged in the show. And I don't want to forget Najimi. Najimi is non-binary. In middle school, Najimi wore a boy's uniform, but in the same episode's present day, they shoot down a guy for asking them out.
No way, I'm a guy too.
That was fast.
In the English voiceover, Najimi is referred to exclusively as they, not him or her. And on the field trip, Najimi stays with the girls in the hotel.
Are all of us in the same room? Huh? Are you a girl?
Shut up, Meg.
And this is all to say that if these two, and the rest of Comey's cast, are indicative of Gen Z and their attitude toward the future, it's brighter than I thought it was. So what do you think? Is this a home run, or did I fall flat on my face? Are you trying to get more into anime, but don't know where to start? Is there a bit of Western media you really like, but would like to see an anime that it's similar to? Leave a comment and subscribe. If you're interested in Comey Can't Communicate, you can watch it on Netflix. And if you've missed the 90s and want to go back, you can catch Hey Arnold in a myriad of services, iNostalgia on Hulu, and Paramount Plus.
Something extra.
So, like, did anyone else imagine Charlie Brown trying to kick Arnold's head? No? Just me? Cool.